Hey everyone, I want to make a quick video outlining some of the screen sharing options in Teams and how you can do that and still manage the meeting you're having with colleagues or with students effectively. So I'm going to start off here in my EdTech 101 with Mr. Gray class team. So I'm going to open up and go into our channel here that we've got for this week. And we're going to schedule a little or start a check-in here. So let's say we're going to meet now. I could schedule this in advance as well, but I'll just use meet now here. And we'll call this our check-in. And we're going to click now to begin. And I will, on the students end, join as well and show you what that looks like. So our demo students now connected to our meeting, you can see, and I'm going to follow best practices here and make sure that they're, again, an attendee and not a presenter. So under manage permissions, I can click on that and it's going to open up my meeting options here in Teams. And it's going to allow me to quickly make sure that I'm the only one who can present, and all other attendees will be in that role. So if you go back here, you can see that happens now in real time, that I'm the presenter and they're the attendee. So that, again, makes sure that they can't mute other people. They can't screen share as well. So now that I've got that set up, I'm going to show you some of the screen sharing options. So on the toolbar, again, you've got the option to click on share. And here now I have multiple different ways that I can share. I can use a whiteboard, interactive whiteboard with Microsoft Whiteboard, which is a really great way to create engagement in a Teams meeting. You can use the Whiteboard app on the Windows desktop, or you can just use Whiteboard in Teams instead and have it start right in this platform here. And now I'm going to be able to then again annotate on here, and my student will see that same thing on their end very quickly. For now, I'm going to stop presenting the whiteboard. And again, that would be collaborative. The student would have access to edit that as well. If you want to share a whiteboard that is read-only for the students, then we would want to launch the whiteboard application on the Windows desktop to do that. So under share, I'll show you some of the next options. So one of the other ones is to use a PowerPoint. So if you've got a PowerPoint file, whether that's in your OneDrive or in another team, you can share that very easily in a Teams meeting. So let's say that I know that I have a PowerPoint in our digital action plan group here that maybe I want to share with this meeting. So I could go into my general channel and find that PowerPoint, and I'm going to click on share. And now you can see that this experience, it allows me to share this PowerPoint, and you can see that it's right in line in the Teams interface. I still have access to my toolbar. I still have my list of people. I can open up the chat instead if I prefer. And it allows you to share that content and control the navigation of it for your attendees. So as I do this on my demo student's device, it's navigating through these slides at the same pace for them. So you're kind of keeping them in control of what they're seeing. And they still have the access on their end, though, to post a question in the chat. They could say, they wanted to check in, or they could also raise their hand. And I want to demonstrate that. So if I was to raise my hand as the demo student, you'll see here now that I can see that right away because I've got my participants pane open. And down here at the bottom, I can see the hand icon as well. So that's a good way, again, to be able to share content and still have, the ability to see those hands being raised, questions that are being posed, and also your chat. You can also allow students to move through the presentation at their own. So if you want, you can give them the ability to navigate through the slides. So on the demo student account right now on my device, I'm actually able to move ahead in the slides from what we're seeing here on the screen. If you want to disable that so that they're kept on the exact same slide that you're on, you can click on the little eye icon here, which says prevent participants from moving through the presentation on their own. So if I click that, you'll see just a single line goes through it. And now it says private viewing disabled. Participants can't move through your shared presentation. So now on the student device, they basically lost the ability to have a little navigation bar that they could move through at their own pace. And now they're stuck on my slide, which is what I want in this case. So I'm going to stop presenting the PowerPoint and show you a couple other options. So under the share, you have the ability to share a window as well, which is really useful, where again, we can share a single window that we have open, which in this case, maybe I want to share some content from my Chrome browser with the students. So I'm going to open that up, and you can see here, it reminds me that I'm presenting, and that will disappear in a moment after, so you can see your full screen interface, and close that tab. And maybe I want to share my Microsoft, my Wakelet collection with my students here, where I house a lot of my resources for education technology. So I can navigate through this, and on my student device, they're seeing exactly where I am on this browser page. And the nice thing about sharing just a window, and this Chrome window, for example, is even if I have desktop notifications pop up, I don't have to worry about my students seeing that. They're only going to see what's inside of this application window. Even if you did, again, like you can see it's maximized, so you might say, well, I had a notification pop up in the bottom. They will not see that. It restricts it to the content inside that red line that's part of Chrome in this case. Now you say, well, now we've lost our ability to actually monitor the meeting and see questions and see hands being raised. So to do that, you can just resize that window that you're sharing. So if I click on the button to restore down in Windows here, I can now resize that, and they're going to see my desktop. Well, actually, the students won't see my desktop, sorry, because the red line again shows where what they are seeing. Now you'll be able to see my desktop, but I'm going to reopen my meeting and bring back this pane here. And now I can just open up my Chrome window, and I could then resize this for myself so that it still allows me to see as much content as possible in that window. But I can also keep an eye on my attendees and see if they have their hand raised. And maybe I answer demo students' question about how do I see see how my conversation at the same time as what we're sharing. So I can lower their hand and then return back to sharing my content. And again, this way, I still have, again, the majority of my screen real estate being utilized for what I'm sharing and helping people work through that, but I can keep an eye on the people tab here. And again, I could also just click in the background and open up the conversation instead, and then keep an eye on that as well. And you can see here, I have my screen sharing going on there in terms of the video I'm recording, but here now I could see the chat, so we could say, quickly jump back and say any questions. Pose that for the group. And go back again to my my window. And now this whole time that I'm navigating around the interface, the students are still seeing this Chrome window even when it's minimized. And I'll just demonstrate again that on the student device, they get a notification that there was a message sent out in the meeting chat, so they could open up saying there's any questions. And the student could reply, and you'll see that now because we have the meeting chat open. All right, so I'll just send a quick message back from the demo student. And so as soon as they click send, you can see in real time it just came through. So that's a great way, again, to share your content using the window and still keep an eye on the meeting chat and the hands being raised. So last option in terms of sharing is sharing your full desktop. And really, of the options, generally I'd say that's like the last option of what to use. But it can be really useful, again, if you are jumping around between different platforms quickly and want them to follow along with everything that you're doing. And so we can just simply share our entire desktop, and then I can move between Teams and then Chrome, or a desktop application. If I have the desktop version of PowerPoint or Word, things like that open, they'll be able to follow along with that. That being said, again, make sure that your notifications are set to do not disturb so that they won't see those. And you've got it set up the way you want. And last important option about sharing in Teams is that if you are playing a video for your students that you want them to hear, it's essential that you check off this box that it says include system audio. If you don't do that, you could start playing a video in your browser, in YouTube or another video platform, and you may be able to hear the video content fine on your end. But really, all the students will hear is what's being picked up by your microphone from what's coming out from your speakers. And the audio quality is going to be very low, and it's going to be, the volume is going to be very low, and the quality is going to be really poor. So if you include system audio, it's actually going to deliver the audio from your device, from that video, directly to the student speakers, in addition to your microphone. So your voice, they'll still be able to hear that, but it's going to give them an experience just like you would on your speakers, where you hear the content really clearly. So that's about it in terms of screen sharing. And again, if you have any questions related to those options or want to see those integrations in more detail and go through things one-on-one, don't hesitate to reach out and contact me. My email is sgray@wqsb.qc.ca, and we can connect on this or any other questions you might have. All right, have a great day, everyone.